Speaking on haters, the ones I can't stand is the ones who attack you while you sleep. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness. Yeah, I said I'm caught up in the spiritual warfare that ain't fair, cause them demons that we facing got powers beyond here. The power that I be serving created the atmosphere and everything that you see, but still people don't believe, and it's crazy. You must be dealing with some type of demon there lately. You're focused on...
Okay, alright, shalom everybody. Welcome to the Search Engine International, and I'm your host, Brother Gocc. With me is Elder Rakar. Shalom, Elder Rakar, how you doing?
Shalom, how are you? I am so glad to hear you nice and clear this evening. All praise be to the Most High. It looked like we fixed the issue. Praise the Most High. Well, I'm doing good. It's September 23rd, and we're still here whole. It seems like everything's still pretty fine as far as us living goes. And I'm going into that, but a few things I wanted to talk about and open up the lines today for the brothers and sisters. But how's it going over there in the UK?
Yes, everything's well. You know, the UK weather is less than desirable, but we're pulling through. You know, we still have life over here. Praise be to the Most High. You know, it's okay. You follow me? We're getting ready right now to go and deal with the feast of Tabernacles. We just came off the Feast of Atonement yesterday. All praises to the Most High, and you know, it's good. The church is growing, and you know, all praises to the Most High. We have life.
Well, isn't it a blessing? That's how you know it's something special about the Most High's 7th month, or the number 7. If there's more holy days or holy convocations within the 7th month than in any month of the year. You understand? And you notice you have the memorial blowing of the trumpets, which is the new month, which is wrongly interpreted new moon, but it's the new month, which is a change of seasons. You know, as soon as we came on that schedule, the season changed. And then you have right from there, we came off the Day of Atonement, which the church fasts, and 10 days later, like the scriptures say, and then right off of that, we have the Feast of Tabernacles coming in Saturday sundown, and then you have all 4 Sabbaths that's within the month too. So it's almost it's a minimum of 7 Sabbaths within just the month of September alone. How spiritual the 7th month is. And usually the elite look to mimic what the Most High does and try to do their events in September, knowing it's the 7th month. But we all know how those things go. But all in all, we're in the new year of festivals and the 7th month according to the Most High, where there's high holy days. And a matter of fact, we'll be going into a lesson on the Feast of Tabernacles and how that's fulfilled in Christ and how we should be following it going forward this coming Sabbath. Of course, there's a few things I wanted to talk about. And of course, anything you would like to interject, I'll be more than happy to, you can just come on in at any time. And of course, we're going to open up the lines and hear what's going on amongst the brothers and sisters this quoting September 23rd, 2015, as they claim. Okay, you have a lot of, I've seen within this last year, a lot of what you would call procrastinators, saying that something was going to happen September 23rd, 2015. Not to say that there's nothing significant going on today behind closed doors. You know, the demons and the spirits, and the elite demonic powers that are operating in the earth are always operating in dark. But I wanted everyone to understand and see that when it comes to prophecies, we're not to plan or deal on the prophecies that are dealing within the world, that people are looking at, especially on the secular scene. And the reason why is because these prophecies or these procrastinators are not being guided by the Most High. And if the Bible doesn't prophesy it, then it's not prophecy. I want to make that clear. And I wanted to read something real quick on that. I mean, how many things we heard would happen September 23rd, 2015. I can go on and on and on. If you type that into YouTube or any other place, you'll see a long list of procrastinators or those that are dealing with some level of prophetic insight, saying that to watch out, the end of the world, the rapture, you name it, will happen September 23rd, 2015. And I'm going to tell brothers and sisters straight up that they have to be careful with that, because you have a lot of misinformation people out there putting things out there on purpose so that others can grab to it. And then they'll relate that person's prophecy or fear, or what you would call false prophecy. They would attach that false prophecy to what you believe and make others say, well, listen, these guys are crackpots. Look, they said this would happen, and it didn't. And really, those prophecies didn't come from the Most High. And I wanted to make that clear. Another thing I wanted to put out is a lot of people are trying to link in the holy days we have today into what they're putting out there with the blood moon. And I'm telling brothers and sisters over and over again and trying to explain to them that anything they're putting on the surface and promoting within our system, they're having you look the other way. The Bible tells that in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, we cannot be dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the nations are dismayed at them. Satan got much technology in which, and he's given the elite powers such technology in which they can do things in the skies. Some things are from the Most High, but there's other things they can create.
The CIA has acquired intelligence detailing an imminent threat.
What kind of threat?
An invasion. An alien invasion.
To cause illusion so that we can actually look at them as the saviors, as those that can operate and deal with the wind and earthquakes and deal with the skies. They want to be acknowledged as gods. So of course they can do many things in the heavens, like written up in Revelation 13, where it talks about the power of the beast. So we must be real careful in looking at the things that they are showing, which gives them some level of acknowledgement and power as gods over us. We must only deal with the prophecies contained in the Bible, and I'm going to go into those today. But of course, we want to make this a show in which we're more interactive and speaking to some of the audience, because maybe there could be some things going on September 23rd. Maybe not of apocalyptic magnitude, but some things that maybe that's out there that brothers and sisters are witnessing that do leak into prophecy that they're doing today. So we'll look into that. But as you can see, we're all here. Nothing has happened. And many people went off the deep end and made decisions, life decisions, on what they've seen on the internet as far as September 23rd. All right? Now, I want to read this, and it's in the book of 1 Corinthians. Okay, 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. And then I'm going into Romans 3. 1 Corinthians 13 and 8 says, charity never faileth. Charity is a spirit of love. Okay? And the spirit of looking outside yourself and helping others. Charity never faileth. But listen to what Paul says in Corinthians. But whether there be prophecy, they shall fail. Now, of course, Paul is not speaking of prophecies out of Scripture. He's speaking a man's prophecy. Someone may say something is going to happen at a certain time. That may fail. Okay? And the example I can have is how many people out there panicking on September 23rd. And I said months ago, don't be surprised if this is something that the elite powers put out there so that they can now, what you would call, homologize or discredit those who have been right in certain instances according to certain things. So they could have put this out there to totally discredit the quote-unquote truth segments or the truth people on the internet. All right? So sometimes they put that out there. So it tells us that prophecy, they shall fail. A man's prophecy can fail. You can have a hunch or discernment, or you can have a strong feeling towards something. And you know what? Sometimes your hunches are right, but sometimes they can be wrong. Okay? So the Most High allowed these things to happen so that we'll know that prophecies will fail. We're not to deal with the prophecies of what man say will happen, and it's not verified or backed up through Scripture. That's why I never attach anything that the Most High is speaking of with a particular date within the Roman calendar. Okay? Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. Okay?
A secret place. A secret place.
Every second that ticks by, the future is running out. Newton?
The first teaser trailer has a clock depicting 00:59:09:23. In the second trailer, there's the same clock appears to be depicted, but with a slightly different time on it. Instead of the 59, it says 63, but the 0923 is the same. So this appears to be a calendar of some sort, not a clock, with the 923 being a day or a date. That's clearly depicted. And this was, I don't believe this was an accident.
So when it comes to prophecies, brothers and sisters, don't panic when you hear someone claiming something will happen out there on the internet or on YouTube. Okay? Them guessing with no Bible open at all. When they should be searching the Scriptures for self-examination and to be prepared for no matter what happens, regardless of the date it may fall on. Now, what I wanted to go into today, just briefly, and it's so many things I want to talk about if we open this up real quick. But Gocc, before I go into that, you have anything on what I've just mentioned? You have, I know a few things working in your mind concerning that, and maybe we can pull in Elder Gabar, see what's going on in the New York area, just see what's going on around the world. But
actually, yes, yeah. What crossed my mind just then was distraction. there was a thing in the UK media a couple of days ago regarding the British Prime Minister and him partaking in some satanic ritual, and they actually brought that out on the on the public. And what came to my mind is that, okay, then if you bringing this to the public now, what's going on really? Why you have created this mass destruction? You follow me? So
Yeah.
It's that sleight of hand, that deflection, bring the attention one way when something else major is going on, that's more paramount, and it's just deceiving the people. So yeah, I've been hearing about this September for a while, and that something's gonna happen or whatever the case is, but
David Cameron, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the equivalent of the President of the United States over there across the pond, is being accused of engaging in sexual relations with a dead pig as part of an initiation into a secret society when he was a young lad, when he was attending Oxford University.
What's the real thing going on in the beneath the surface? So that's the question I'm asking.
Exactly. When you look at the Prime Minister and all, we know all of them are Satanists. We know all of them did with satanic rituals. The question is, why are they now bringing this to the forefront for the public? For those who really didn't care or didn't know at all that this existed, why are they now letting this become widespread, that people, in high political places are caught in satanic rituals when the whole system is a satanic ritual? The reason is it's an introduction. They're introducing the world and they're acclimating the world into Satanism. And that's without question. But what I want to talk about, speaking on that, is the spiritual battle that we're in, especially at coming off the Day of Atonement. You understand? The reflection we do in the spirit, reflecting on, our sins and the things, our shortcomings, and where we could actually become better vessels for the Most High here on earth. You understand? And I was thinking about it. And brothers and sisters, it's deep, because I was looking at this and I was going through scriptures and realized that there's realms of spirits that were prophesied to be released at a certain time that are now attacking people. You understand? And examining this, and I said it in this class Saturday, and I'm going to go over a few things that we've recognized according to the Most High. I was saying this Saturday that we have to really be careful when it comes to our emotions and how we deal with issues, because these spirits are released and they're trying to have us, those that believe, fulfill those that would betray, destroy, attack, destroy each other, hate each other. So they're working against the righteous. Satan is not looking to take the ones that have already submitted to his will. His whole mission is to turn those and to destroy those who belong to the Most High. That's his aim. And I think that if we teach certain understandings, it allows us to become more spiritually savvy when it comes to a scenario in which we are faced with dealing with the spirit attacking. So we must know how they came into being, what's going on, how do they operate, who has power over these spirits. When I say power to shun them when they are attacking. In order to shield ourselves from these attacks, we must know how the spiritual mechanics operate on that side. Okay? How they came into existence. Where do they operate from? How do they get in? Okay? When are we involved with operating with them? How do we have power? And do we have power? That's a good question. To overcome and see these things afar off and have power to make sure that these spirits don't affect us. And I thank the Most High because it gives us some knowledge with the information that was revealed to the church. Not just the Bible, not just the Apocrypha, like the book of Jasher, like the book of Enoch, okay, like the book, like the epistles, like Peter's epistles, Paul's epistles, the book of Jude, which was at once what the Romans called heretical or heretic doctrine. At one time, brothers and sisters don't even know that the book of Jude was told to the church not to read because it was heretical. It was a heretic doctrine. As if they were trying to hide. It's as if the churches are trying to hide the spirits they're really worshiping. They don't, because number one, if we identify and know how the spirits operate, that's the first form of defense we can make against them. Like, for instance, if you don't know something exists, of course, your defense is down concerning it. So it seems as if the churches wanted us to believe that everything was by chance and there's no outside force or spirits operating within our earth. That's focused on destroying us. They don't want us to know about the fall of the angels before the flood. They don't want us to know how they were bound, how long they would be bound. The spirits that came from the children of the fallen angels. All this information is written in what they would call heretical or heretic doctrine, like the book of Enoch. But it's really they're trying to hide the spirits that was prophesied in Scripture, in the Bible, that was prophesied to go against the children of the Most High in the end day. So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to give some information on the power Christ gave us and gave the church to ward off, to fight, and to battle against these dark forces. You know, it's a deep zone. I was just thinking about it. It's a deep zone living in the dimension that we're dealing with, what they call a third dimension, in which you know there's forces operating, right? And we can see everything that's born into our realm, but we can feel certain forces and know certain things exist, right? But we don't see them like we would see our family members or any object that's made in this realm. Now, imagine you're battling something that's as tangible, that's as tangible as your being. But they can see you, and you can't see them. And I was thinking about it earlier. I'm like, this is a deep zone because this battle comes with, you have to have such a level of faith to understand this and to know that, okay, I'm battling something, an invisible power that sees me as well as I can see Gocc or one of our brothers or sisters and is looking for an entry, looking to operate. See, one thing about Yeshua, our Savior, he was able to operate in both realms. He was able to operate amongst our realm and still see what was going on. You understand? In the other realms. To the point where when he spoke to a person, he understood it wasn't the person that was psychotic or the person that was crazy or the person that was sick. He was able to talk into the invisible and deal with the spirit that was controlling the person. The invisible spirit that was actually looking at him and operating, seeing him the whole time.
What?
Syrian Aramaic? How clever.
Jesus. Honey, is this something? True what I said, though. I do know who you are. Hazel.
Where'd you get that? From Milano's place? You found something up there. Well, Some things, pal, you shouldn't know.
Like what? Like what?
And if you know, you should never ever tell.
Beware my wrath.
Now, let's put ourselves, we must be like Christ. Let's put ourselves in Christ in the disciples' place. Okay, knowing that in the earth, if we tap into it and shun evil, we have that same power. And they know it, and it starts with baptism. Now, just imagine how much of an enemy we are to the unseen. And how much more they would like to attack and destroy us. Telling it against us. You understand? But we can't see them. So how do we deal with this? Let me read this real quick. I'm going to go through a few things. And I'm going to also institute some of the information I was speaking about this coming Sabbath when it comes to CERN. And Gocc, I know you're writing things down and you're going through it too, but after I'm finished, you can interject, no issue at all. But the disciples gave us some insight on this, right? When you look in the book of Ephesians, 6th chapter, Church of Ephesus, Paul wrote to the Church of Ephesus, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So now he's preparing brothers and sisters in the Church of Ephesus to understand that this battle is deeper than what we can see. Right? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Now we know some of the high places they're ruling from is the stars. That's why NASA is sending space stations in and out of our atmosphere. Okay? NASA is a religious mechanism. It's not a scientific mechanism. It's a religious mechanism. Okay? That's what they're doing up. They're going up and they're dealing with these spirits that are ruling from the outside of the earth. Okay? So they're in high places, operating the rulers of this world that are over politicians, that are over the world governments. Okay? But also, the scriptures give us a detailed insight by letting us know that our fight is not against flesh and blood. Right? Now, things real quick to show you, to share with you. I'm going into Enoch real quick, and I'm going to bring it back to today. But matter of fact, before I go into Enoch, I want to read something real quick. That's key. This is Yeshua himself, the Savior, our Savior Christ. Right? I'm going to Matthew, the 16th chapter, and I'm at the 18th verse. Right? He says, I say unto thee, thou art Peter, I will build my church. And the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Now I want you to examine that real quick. That the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Now I need to print this with, we wrestle not with flesh and blood. So when he says the gates of hell shall not prevail against Christ's establishment through Peter on earth. That means there's a battle there that's looking to prevail over the power that's now being given to Peter. Right? So now that's a war, that's a battle. Right? So actually, something comes from places to battle against those who are in Christ. How do we know this? Let me read that gate in the Greek for you, brothers and sisters, right now. Now, this is some spiritual food for you, for us today. Let's look at it. Let's examine these gates. Right? It says, and I also unto thee, I'm 18. Thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell. Now that hell, brothers and sisters, is Hades, which is a place of departed souls in the Greek, a grave. And check this out. Hades, properly unseen. Are you following me here? We wrestle not against flesh and blood. We're wrestling with something that's coming out of the invisible from someplace. Hades. When you look at the gates of Hades, gates, a gate, a leaf or wing or a folding entrance. A folding entrance is like, if you see a circle and it folds like into a heart at the top, like a gate comes through something. Like a window, like a tunnel. A lot of people are speaking and talking about CERN being turned on and what that means and how this quote they call Tesla, which we know is demonic technology, that can actually, and even the scientists saying they're looking for dark matter, right? They're opening up gates, brothers and sisters.
They have admitted they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're going to find. They don't know how many portals are going to open or what's going to come through. The actual mechanics, the nuts and bolts of what's happening, when they collide the particles and generate, let's say, 14 tera-electron volts, they're actually creating enough mass energy equivalency to separate the Higgs field. Now, that's a theoretical field. When you talk about opening a portal for a picosecond, or a nanosecond, or a split second, that time frame is irrelevant to what is going to happen in terms of entities moving from another dimension into our dimension. Time is irrelevant. Right. They have openly said, we don't know what's going to happen. We are entering a time of entirely new physics, and we are looking for parallel universes. We are looking for new dimensions. Those are their words.
So, when you look at this in Matthew 16 and 18, it says, and I will build my church. That means if we deal with the principles of Christ and the church that was established, that these spirits being released to attack us will have no power against us. And the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Now, I want you to listen to this real quick, because the scriptures are manifold and there's levels to this. Listen to this, brothers and sisters. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Now, keys does what? Keys lock and keys unlock. See? So we have gates. And now he's saying, listen, the gates of hell will not prevail against you, Peter. What's established here? I'm going to give you power to control or to deal with what comes out of those gates. You have keys. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Now what does this mean, brothers and sisters? There's spiritual power within the elect who are baptized in the Spirit to move spirits that are released from gates, open up a gate and send them back. And whatever we do on earth, heaven confirms. So we do an operation in the earth, and now the angels come and they do their work. They now move these spirits into the abyss. And listen, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. See that? So it's given power to do what? To control what's coming out of these gates. In and out of these gates. So that they have no power over us. And I want you to examine this. And I'm going to give an example of this in Scripture. Going into Matthew 8 and 28. It reads, and when he was come to the other side into the country of the Gergesenes, speaking of Yeshua, the anointed Savior, there met him two possessed with devils. Now, like I've mentioned in past broadcasts, that normally if you see someone like this in our current society, the society or doctors would say, well, they're crazy and look to commit them or put them on some drug or narcotic or whatever the case is, claiming that they need crazy people's medicine. When really, we know the real issue, the root issue, is demon possession. Okay? The spirits have hosts now. It says here, they met him two possessed with devils coming out of tombs. And I'm giving you an example of what the power he gave Peter here. Coming out of the tombs, exceeding fear, so that no man might pass by that way. Matthew 8 and 29. And behold, they cried out, saying, what have we to do with thee, Yeshua, thou Son of the Most High? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? So obviously the spirits understand that there's a time that's allowed them to operate on earth before judgment. Right? 30th verse. And there was a good way off from them, and an herd of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, if thou cast us out, suffer us to go in the herd of swine. Now why would they ask that? Because Yeshua had the keys to that gate of hell. And he could have sent them there. And they asked him, please, if you cast us out, let us go into swine, because they'll go into something living. And once what's living die, they'll be able to operate and continue to operate in the invisible on earth. See? But they knew Christ had the power to open up that gate. He didn't need CERN. He didn't need a machine that would crack open the earth and cause earthquakes and all types of issues to open up these gates. There's a spiritual level that Yeshua was operating on that could actually open up these gates without harming the earth and move spirit out of our realm And guess what? That power is within us. Matthew 8 and 31. So the devils besought him, saying, if thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. Matthew 8 and 32. And he said unto them, go. And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine. And behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea and perished in the waters. Now, the swine drowned in the waters, but the spirits were able to now continue to operate on the earth until their time is up. Now, why am I bringing this out? I'm going to show you. There's an origin to this. And I'm going to tell you, many of the Christian churches' doctrines are looking to hide the fact that this is our true battle. Okay? They'd rather us deal with our menial battles and keep us focused on menial things, opposed to understanding the greater attacks that are going on against us. Why? Because they don't prepare for these battles because they don't even believe this exists. You would have doctrines out there that would claim hell don't exist. You'd have doctrines out there that claim that angels cannot come down and deal with women, that never happened. Okay, that spirit and hybrid spirits wasn't produced from them. Now, they'll make these claims strictly because of their ignorance and what was taught to them. But when you ask the clear question that's never answered, well, if that's not the case, if they didn't come down, and if this didn't happen, what is the origin of demons? Where do demons come from? Who produced them? How were they produced? And they'll look at you in total silence. See, without the peace of Enoch and the scriptures concerning that fall, let me tell you, brothers and sisters, we're within this battle of the sons of God that came down within this earth, that rebelled against the Most High. We're the sons of God that was placed in this earth to battle them here. Okay? So, of course, once Satan got in charge, he would first make people believe he didn't exist.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
So that now we don't know the forces we're battling against. Okay? And he would hide the origin of those that works under him, the 1/3 angels and the demons that came from this revolt, and make you believe they're good or don't exist at all, so that we know who's battling in the invisible against us.
You're next. I thought that I was dreaming, but I wasn't. Look.
Now let me take you back so that we can resolve what Christ was giving Peter power over. Okay? Something happened in the earth that caused the flood. And I say it over and over again. And we can't ignore that, what happened before the flood, because what happened before the flood is a result of the earth we have now. Even Yeshua said at the very end in Matthew 24, as in the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So how can we prepare for his coming and battle what's attacking us when we don't understand that led to Noah building the ark? I just want to throw this out there real quick. Right? Just going to touch on this. It's not going to be a complete lesson. I'm just throwing some things out there so we'll know what we're battling against here. I'm in the book of Enoch, the 10th chapter. And I'm going directly down to like the 11th verse. Okay? He told Michael, and the Lord said unto Michael, Micah, go bind Simjaza. Now Simjaza was one of the head angels that were watchers. And the book of Jude speak of these watchers. Simjaza was one of the head watchers, or angels, whose task was to watch the deeds of man, and decided to come in association with other angels, 200 of them, down on Mount Hermon, and began to deal with women to make families within this earth, hybrid families. From these came Nephilim on the polygon, giants. There was no place for these giants in the earth because it wasn't produced from man. They were from celestial mixed with terrestrial, and there was no place that can hold them within Hades because there was no place originally made for them. So the Most High said, well, listen, there will be evil spirits on this earth, the children of the fall, because they came from blood and spiritual realm. They will now stay on earth until their judgment. And that's why the Spirit asked Christ, have you come to destroy me before thy time? Have you come to judge me before my time? These are the children of those that were disobedient before the flood. I'm speaking to the children of the fallen angels. Bind them fast. Listen to what he told Michael. Go bind Simjaza and his associates who have united themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And where their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations. Now these generations are not a Jubilee generations. There are different calculations for this. But bind them the volleys of the earth till the day of their judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is forever and ever. So that tells us that, okay, those that fell are bound in the earth, in Hades, in darkness, like it speaks in the book of Jude, until a particular time. Till the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated. Now listen to this clearly. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations, and destroy all the spirits of the reprobate and the children of the watchers, because they have wronged mankind. They led mankind astray. They made mankind into freaks, hermaphrodites, homosexuals, sodomites, murderers. They taught mankind the evil that's being perpetuated and promoted throughout this earth today as mainstream.
Open the store! If you don't know what this Tomorrowland Festival is, you need to look it up. On YouTube, there's videos all over what this Tomorrowland Festival is. And it's nothing but a gigantic party where people come out and get drunk. But in this so-called huge party, there's this gigantic stage with this face, and the face says it's a machine. And it starts out in times past. We had people that visited us, and they left us the key to unlock the door. What? Key to unlock the door? What are you talking about? It's almost satanic. It looks almost like something the Antichrist would put out. Gnosticism or whatever. So the Tomorrowland Festival is a gigantic, strange, odd festival that's happened all over Europe and is now finally in America. And it looks like it's a glorification of sin. Fornicating and dancing and drinking and adoring this gigantic figure who came out of a door. Apollyon comes out.
We didn't start off like this. We're like children, in the image of the Most High, until they poisoned the Most High's creation. Christ is the remedy for that poison. Yeshua is the remedy. Destroy all wrong from the face of the earth, and let every evil work come to an end, and let the plant of righteousness and truth appear. And it shall prove a blessing. The works of righteousness and truth shall be planted in truth and joy forevermore. And then shall all the righteous escape. See, that's why I wanted to bring this out. That if we understand how the invisible work and what they and how and their inception and how they get power over sinful people, we'll find a way to escape and know what we're battling that's watching us from the invisible.
When they do show up, it's a sure sign that carnage and bloodshed are not far behind.
Morning.
They don't cause it, they feed on it. The more Bodaks that show up, the bigger the eventual feast. They're attracted to evil like bees to flowers. They know when death is coming and want to watch. They don't show up for any ordinary death. They want extreme, operatic violence and terror.
See? You would think every church on the planet would be teaching this. This is how to battle spiritually. Okay, when Paul said buffet our members, what did he mean by that? Well, when you look at this in wrestling with flesh and blood, that we're not wrestling with, but spirits, the only way they can attack us is through our senses, our flesh and blood. The sin that came with the fall of Adam. Our appetites, what we feel, what we taste, what we see, what we hear. See? These are things they utilize to gain entry. Our senses. We buffet our senses and control our senses and not be insatiable. Now that we're able to control our vessel, we can now battle on the next level now. Not just within ourselves. So when I say that, we have what you would call rule over our members. That's why Christ says, if someone smites you, turn the other cheek. If some people are trying to get you and bring something evil out of you, but it's not the people, it's the spirit. It's the invisible. They're trying to get you to react to something because it needs a physical reaction to gain entry. And I wanted to talk about that. That battle, wrestling with the invisible. We must know at all times it's there. That these gates are being opened and that these spirits are always there.
There is a nightmare more terrifying than any other. A nightmare that has haunted thousands of people all over the world.
It felt as if there was a male presence there who was evil.
I can remember seeing this figure in the doorway. I just knew it was female.
A presence comes into the room, paralyzes its victim, then leaps on their body and assaults them.
It hits me so hard at times where it knocks me off my mattress.
She's choking me so hard that I think that my voice box is going to collapse.
Sometimes it's a shadowy figure, sometimes an old hag, sometimes a demon. But whatever shape it takes, the entity, as it is often called, has concrete effects, leaving its victims battered and exhausted, their lives in pieces. Sufferers are sure that when they see it, they are awake, and it is real. Science, psychology, and religion have all grappled with this phenomenon. Can any explain the mystery of the entity?
Right? Because we understand, according to scriptures, the righteous will escape. Right? In Enoch 10 and 17, then shall all the righteous escape, and shall live to beget thousands of children. Okay? So we will make it through this. But I'll tell you. Now, the consummation is a time period in which those that were bound will be led to the fire that they will be thrown into after 1,000 years. The children of the Nephilim who are ruling this today, the children of the fallen angels, who are part bloodline, Canaanite bloodline, and Edomite bloodline, feel that they are the children of these fallen ones and are looking to try to release these who are bound. That's what these machines are about that they're making. They're looking to try to thwart or overt prophecy. And through that, they're opening up gates and are releasing spirits. When you go to Revelation 9 real quick. Now, I don't, this is going to be the last scripture because I wanted this to be a regular radio show, but the Spirit has leading me to go into this, so I'm just going to touch on this, and then we're going to go back into it. But, the Spirit was on me, so I wanted to talk about this. When you go to Revelation 9, speaking of that keys and gates, right? When you see it as Revelations 9:1, and the fifth angel sounded, and I spoke of those trumps a few days ago, and I saw a star fall from heaven. We know the stars are the wanderers or the fallen angels. All right? Yeshaya says he beheld Lucifer. He beheld Satan fall from heaven. He beheld. He's seen Satan fall from the beginning. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. Now, the key is what? The key is a way to open hell. So an angel will come into this earth and teach mankind how to do what? Get into the pit where their fathers are bound in the underworld. See? Only an angel can teach this information to those in earth. Don't believe man is that smart. The majority of technology we're dealing with in this earth is taught to us. Angelic technology. So don't try to give Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and any of these guys any credit. They're not that smart. They do more sacrificing and demon worshiping than studying. Okay? They receive information for their obedience, for selling their soul to these fallen angels and demons.
September 2008, the largest, most complex, and most expensive machine ever devised by man was turned on. The Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, is a 17-mile-long ring of superconducting electromagnets buried approximately 300 feet beneath the ground near the city of Geneva on the Franco-Swiss border. Chilled to temperatures colder than the void of outer space, and generating a magnetic field more than 100,000 times that of the Earth's, this machine accelerates proton particle beams to a velocity just under the speed of light, and then smashes them together in particle detector chambers in order to break apart the nuclei and unloose the subatomic secrets of matter. At full power, the LHC produces roughly 600 million collisions per second, creating fleeting, minuscule atomic explosions up to 1 million times hotter than the interior of the sun. The data collected from these collisions is processed by the worldwide LHC computing grid, one of the most extensive and powerful computing grids on the planet. The grid, as it is known, builds on the technology of the World Wide Web, which was invented at CERN in 1989. The Large Hadron Collider is the primary research instrument of the European Organization for Nuclear Research, otherwise known as CERN. In a perfect world, the greatest accomplishments of science would be the product of goodwill toward men and the desire for peace and prosperity. However, in the practical world, the world in which we live, the greatest accomplishments of modern science are often facilitated and funded by men who have anything but goodwill and peace on their minds. In many cases, the most groundbreaking technological advancements, such as in the case of jet propulsion, rocket science, and nuclear fission, have been intentionally directed by incredibly malevolent individuals for dark and dangerous purposes. Scientists are rarely the evil villains scheming sinister plots in secret laboratories that Hollywood has often portrayed, with a few glaring exceptions, of course, and are usually zealously dedicated to their particular field of study, with noble or benign intentions at heart. However, this kind of religious commitment to science can engender blind apathy, if not willful ignorance, concerning the overarching implications and ill intentions of the benefactors facilitating their work. This is certainly the case of the brilliant men and women working at CERN, most of whom naively believe that the prime objective of their research is to merely understand what the universe is made of and how it all started at the Big Bang. Unfortunately, what they fail to realize, apart from the fact that they're working from a false premise to begin with, is that their research is very likely being used to advance a hidden agenda, the conspirators of which are well aware of who created the universe and are absolutely intent on making war with him and enthroning another in his place. CERN is an acronym derived from the French rendition of the designation European Council for Nuclear Research, which was a provisional council organized in the early 1950s with critical backing from the United Nations, whose task was to plan for the construction of a multinational European research facility that would be dedicated to the study and advancement of nuclear physics. On the 29th of September 1954, the Provisional Council was dissolved and the European Organization for Nuclear Research, or CERN, was born. As an interesting side note, the infamous Bilderberg Group was also conceived that same year, exactly 4 months later, on the 29th of May. Both of these organizations enjoy diplomatic immunity. Although the Provisional Council had been dissolved, paradoxically, the acronym of CERN remained, even though it did not correspond to the title of the new organization. It was distinguished physicist and one of the key pioneers of quantum mechanics, Werner Karl Heisenberg, who had inexplicably insisted that the original acronym of CERN remain in effect, as Tom Horn elucidates in his book, On the Path of the Immortals. Werner Heisenberg understood quite well what quantum physics implied for humanity. Inherent within this theoretical realm, populated by obtuse equations and pipe-smoking scientists, lies what I call the Babylon potential. This is the secret knowledge, the scientific imperative, informed and driven by spiritual advisors, that the Bible cites as the key to opening a gateway for the gods. It is Ente Menaki, Baba Alu, the opening of the Abzu, the doorway to hell. Tom goes on to explain that, although Heisenberg may or may not have known it, CERN is an abbreviated title for an ancient Celtic deity called Cernunnos. Cernunnos, whose name means horned one, is thought to be the god of death and rebirth and the lord of the underworld. He is often depicted with rings or torques around his stag-like horns or in his hands, which may symbolize the circle of destruction and restoration that he represents. To further concretize this idea, Cernunnos is also depicted with a ring in one hand and a snake in the other. Because of the cycle by which it sheds its skin, the snake has ever been a mystical motif of death and rebirth, destruction and restoration. In a reversed esoteric adaptation, the rings of the Large Hadron Collider could be representative of the rings of Cernunnos, and by further associative interpretation, may very well reveal CERN's prime esoteric objective. I believe it does, and will address it at the end of this analysis. I understand that drawing correlations between the acronym of CERN and deities from the ancient world may seem too forced and tenuous for critical minds, and I might be inclined to agree, if CERN had not evoked such correlations first. Rather than distance themselves from associations with arcane pagan deities, the directors of CERN welcomed and even celebrated the placement of a very unscientific icon in the courtyard of their main facilities. On the 18th of June 2004, a 2-meter-high statue bequeathed by the representatives of India's Department of Atomic Energy was ceremoniously unveiled at CERN. It was a statue of the Hindu god Shiva engaged in the Nataraja, the cosmic dance of destruction. Shiva is one of 3 members of the Trimurti, the Hindu Trinity, in which the cosmic functions of creation, preservation, and destruction are personified in the forms of Brahma the creator, Vishnu the preserver, and Shiva the destroyer, who is also known as the transformer. It is important to understand that in Hindu mythology, Lord Shiva destroys the world in order to renew, restore, and reconstitute it. A commemorative plaque positioned next to the likeness of the dancing Shiva emblazons a quote from Austrian-born American physicist Fritjof Capra. It reads, in part, "Hundreds of years ago, Indian artists created visual images of dancing Shivas in a beautiful series of bronzes. In our time, physicists have used the most advanced technology to portray the patterns of the cosmic dance. The metaphor of the cosmic dance thus unifies ancient mythology, religious art, and modern physics. Think about this," says Steve Quayle in his book True Legends. "A symbolic statue of what might be a fallen angel who promises to destroy things as we know them now and rebuild a new, improved universe, with a plaque basically saying the facility will be trying to unify mythology, religion, and physics."
It says here, "The 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit." So there's a key. And don't forget, Christ gave Peter the keys to do what? So that he can prevail against what would come out of those gates. So the bottomless pit was open, and there rose smoke. Things came out of the pit. These were the spirits that were bound. Even after the flood. Even after the flood, brothers, demons, that the Nephilim powers, the demons were attacking Noah's children. And 90% of those spirits were bound. But now they're being released. All of them are being released, brothers and sisters, into the earth. These trumps and these sounds of a trumpet are time periods in which angels would have power to give technology to loose and open these gates of hell and have that realm come into this earth. Why do you think the earth is getting more evil and wicked and satanic? Things are being released in the earth. Demonic forces are being released. But we have the power to not only buffet our flesh to make sure it don't enter us. In the Spirit of Christ, we have the power to send them and to command them. Not only to shield us, we can command them into the abyss. And they understand this. And we need no technology. We don't have to build a machine for this. That's the power that was given to Peter. See? But going back into this real quick, another example. And then I'll open this up because I want to see what's going on in the earth and whatnot. But I wanted to talk about this to show you when it says we wrestle not with flesh and blood. We're dealing with the invisible that's being released on this earth. Spirits that have caused mankind to fall since the beginning. And believe it or not, brothers and sisters, we go to sleep in this battle, we wake up in this battle.
I thought that I was dreaming, but I wasn't. Look!
And the best thing that we can know, understanding that we're walking in the valley of the shadow of death right now, is to know when you're face to face with one. Okay? With a spirit that's operating. whether it be operating invisible or through someone. Know not to interact and deal. Okay? If it's trying to do something, do not react. If you do, you will be a casualty. That's their job, to attack, do battle. They can only enter if you react. Last one real quick. I'm in the book of Matthew 12. And this is what happens to us. Now, we can speak about the spirits and how they operate, where they come from, the fact that they enter in and out of our realm, that every government in this earth worships them and are directed by them. Let me make that clear. Chiefly America, chiefly Rome and the Western world. Chiefly the Saudi family over in the Middle East. And bestly, chiefly on top of chiefly, the synagogue of Satan. The Jewish powers that are controlling this earth are the top of the pyramid. All right? But when it comes to this, when we learn the truth and began to get knowledge of good and evil, these spirits are now looking, especially through baptism, because the first point of having power over these spirits is realizing that they're operating within you and asking the Most High to cleanse you from them. That's first weapon against them, because the first thing is recognition. Okay? That's the first piece of what you would call spiritual growth and battling the unseen. Is to understand that you know things are working against you, in you. You can't see that, can you? But you're doing the things that you not ought to do. You're thinking the things that you know is not you. Can you see that? No. But it exists. It's the invisible. But when you're baptized, you begin to recognize that you're not going to make it into the kingdom and be accepted by the Most High the way you are presently. So you know there's something within you that's against you. So now that you recognize, you go to the Most High for help with baptism to get what? A cleansing and confessions of sins. Is now identifying the spirits. Now you're naming the spirits that have been attacking you. And now through the power of the Most High, they must go. You're too strong right now. You're not subject to sin. And they understand the power that's in you now. So it tells us in Matthew the 12th chapter, in the 43rd verse, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Then he saith, I will return into my house from whence I came out. That means when the Spirit leaves us after baptism, it looks to find another host, and it can't. It's used to you. It used to sinning. It became part of your senses to believe that this has made you an individual. It was the thoughts of this demon that was dragging you to hell that you thought that made you special. So they have a connection with you. So they'll go and they'll dwell in different places. It says, then he saith, he seeketh rest. He seeketh a person to go into, but he can't find one. He like you. Then he saith, I will return into my house from whence I came out. He's coming back to look for you. These spirits. And when he has come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. So even when you're totally clean, they're looking to get back in you. But because you're clean and you identify who they are and what they and their actions, they know that if something happened where you where you fail, subject to sin, the only gate that can get them into you. They know that if they entered you, you would recognize the sin and cast them out again and become stronger. This is Yeshua speaking here. In Matthew 12 and 45 it says, then he goeth, because he see you sweep and garnish, he see you clean these spirits. Then goeth he or she, because we know that word he or she is not there. It's a kinos, which means that one. Then goeth that one, and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself. And they enter in and dwell there. Similar to those two men that was riddled with spirits that Christ ran into, we read, that Yeshua ran into. And they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so now listen to this, even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. So it's telling us that the majority of people who are not in Christ are riddled with spirits. If they're looking for the clean ones, this generation is filled with them. So the only way that we can prevail against this, and the Bible tells us, where 2 or more gathered, he's in the midst. We must lean on each other in the spirit. We must be there for each other, and we must battle together. And once we get our spirit buffeted and our members in subjection, we have the power to now become the modern day spiritual Ghostbusters, to move these spirits back from whence they came. That's the power that's within us. But again, like I was mentioning, these gates, they're looking to release elite powers. That's their mission, to bring forth prophecy. That would mean the annihilation of the elect, so that they can rule this earth. But in order to do so, they must get power from below. So they're releasing all types of spirits into this earth. And with each day, until it returns, with each day, it will become worse and worse. So this is the power we must link into, understanding what we're fighting and prepare for what's coming out of those gates. Instant in the spirit. Not attacking one another. Not looking to destroy one another. Understanding there's a greater battle. There's something coming out of those gates. Okay? Continually. And they are looking to destroy the righteous. Those that are looking into the Most High. Those that want the kingdom. This is who they're battling against, and they understand it. Okay? So I wanted to put that out there real quick. Oh, gosh.
Hey, Elder man. you have me here with my Bible, Elder, just ready to go. You with me? I mean, let me just read one scripture again, Elder. Just to compound on what you're saying here. I'm in Galatians, the 5th chapter, and I'm going to read the 16th verse. And it reads, "This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that ye would. But if you be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, sedition, and heresies, and just listening to what you're saying here, Elder, when you say yield your members over, buffet your members, and you know, subdue it. This is what came to my mind. When you go, when we look on Yeshaya said, unless a man be born of the water and the Spirit, we have to be walking in the Spirit. We have to be the battle that the battle we fighting here. We can't allow the flesh to win. And that's all. I just want to add that. That's all. I mean, that's all.
Absolutely, because what they feed off of flesh.
Yes.
You understand? This is their power. Their power, and that's why you look, everywhere you look, it's about advertising and this insatiable lust for the flesh, the lust of the eyes. And these things are their key weapons so that we recognize them. Mm-hmm. But when we're doing those things that lead to our fall, they not only have gates to get out of hell, that's a doorway into Jesus.
Yes.
So the same way that they get into this earth, they get into you. Mm-hmm. When we yield our spirit, but then once we learn to control our vessels, then it's the next level of saying, okay, what's going on the outside of me now? I'm good. So let me now look around and see what's coming, what's battling against me. See? Mm-hmm. And not only that, I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters, and I learned this a long time ago. Why do you think they got scary movies and all these things out there? It's a condition to have you fear them when they really fear you. Mm-hmm. So they'll put these things in movies and all that so that we can, they call it scary movies, so that we can actually look at them as higher or more powerful beings that could destroy us. When it's really, that's how they are examining us. We are their horror movie. Based on the power we have in Yeshaya, they are afraid of what we may do, so they didn't condition us to be afraid of them. Mm-hmm. See, but it's a whole other conversation, of course. Real quick, let's talk to some of the people. Let's find out what's going on out there. As a matter of fact, let's talk to a few people, and then we can have a few adverts, and let's start talking.
All right. Everybody, you're listening into the Search Engine International. All right, the numbers to call is 646-200-4309. That is 646-200-4309. Let's go to the first caller from the 253 area code.
Shalom.
Shalom, brother. How you doing?
Good. Shalom. Blessed. I wanted to know, was the church going to be doing any more of those, like with Elder Gabar, those conferences type of deals that they were doing, Elder Gabar was doing? With the other churches?
Okay.
Kind of like the debates or the, I don't know exactly how to call it, but I was just wondering.
You mean what was going on in New York with Elder Gabar in New York?
Yeah. I was wondering if they, if we were still, like the church was still doing that. I was wondering if we could just giving out an idea to set one up, like a Secret of the Times one, so where we could bring all the brothers that believe in Christ, Yeshaya, and to kind of have a debate on the time, so all the brothers, we can all start having the feast days all on the same day, all the churches.
Okay, what you mean on the times? Give me some specifics. What are you talking about?
Like we have the debate or like the setting they've been having, to where Elder Kabar comes with the information that the church has got, and we, you know, put it against all the other churches that, you know, that are in Christ, that, you know, what they, you know, believe, you know, how, you know, like the lunar moons and stuff, you know, so like we could bring the true teaching, and like we can, like, you know, set up a debate to where, you know, we bring it out, and whatever shows forth, you know, like then all the churches can start, you know, following on that day.
Well, I'm sure there are going to be events coming up, but really we're at a time now where the debate is going to be coming. The debate's going to come to an end, and we're going to tell
that's what.
Let me make it clear. We're going to just show what the Most High have to say, and for those that understand it, they can follow and do the right thing. Because there's a time where, if we're not careful in that, not that we do that, but we'll get caught so much into that we'll be losing footing on what we need to do in that same space. I would rather have it open where we just teaching the truth, and there is no opposite. And the truth is the truth. You understand?
Yeah.
Because in Isaiah 58:4 it says, "Behold, ye fast for life in debate, and to smite with the fist of wickedness. Ye shall not fast as you do this day, to make your voice to be heard on high." So to say that debating, listen, I don't mind debating the truth in certain forms. You understand? And we'll set it up, but we can't make that where that becomes the doctrine. You understand?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and I didn't really exactly meant like the debates. I just knew, I was just thinking, you know, after the fast, you know, that's what kind of came to my mind was, you know, I was just kind of wishing or praying in my own head that, you know, more brothers, we could all just come, you know what I mean, like try to get more into agreement, and maybe at least just try to come under the same dates, you know, for the holy days.
Brother, it's not going to happen.
Definitely.
Let me save you some time. It's not going to happen. Now, am I being, you know, am I just being a damper here? No. When the truth comes, brothers, people have a choice. Did you see Christ try to look to get everybody together so they can understand each other? Or did he put it like it was and give them a choice? What did you see?
Yeah, they definitely have a choice.
Yeah, so the whole thing is, 9 times out of 10, the majority of the time that debates happen with Christ, they came to Christ. They were looking at the congregation were losing to those in Christ. And they began to now frequent his teaching. He would be out in public and they would come there. Some converted, and others will look to destroy him altogether. So, brother, it's out there. Like for instance, when you look at the calendar, the 364-day calendar, 52 Sabbaths, it makes perfect sense to you, right?
Yes, it does.
You think they haven't seen the same videos you've seen?
Yeah, I guess like, because I can see it, it's just hard for me not, you know, to see how they can't see it, you know what I mean? That's probably where my issue is.
Yeah, because Christ has given them ears that can hear but can't hear, and eyes that physically see but can't see. And you will find yourself kicking against the pricks. What do you think Christ means when he says, "Don't cast your pearls before swine, lest they rend you under feet"? Give me your understanding on that.
That means don't deal with brothers that you already know, you know, ain't gonna come to any, you know, common ground.
Don't cast your pearls before swine, brother, lest they rend you under feet. That's Christ. If anybody would want everybody to get together, it would be Christ, right? But he tells us who not to give it to. He says, because they'll take what you give and use it to destroy you. We're not wrestling with in blood, brother. This ain't no game. So and I understand that you have good intentions. You're very young, and that's good. But I've seen brothers that came from that whole same atmosphere, and they'll come amongst the church. You understand? In stealth, looking to destroy. So, brother, they would do what you was doing if they wanted to all come together. Okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. We're going to do the work. Now, I would rather them look at what the Most High say and showing through the church and apply it. Don't even say they got it from us. If their pride is in the way. At least they're on course with the right holy days and all that. I will be happy with that. We don't got to debate for that. If they do their studies, look at it, look at the information, put down their pride, and just do it, no one have to know it came from the church. And we'll still be together. Okay, so that's how we come together. But brother, let me tell you, what you're saying will take another creation to happen.
Yeah, it was just a thought, because, I remember to listen and, reading, how like on Pentecost, and all the Israelites were there and, how they were all.
Hey, caller, I'm sorry to cut you, but let's put you back in the queue, and let's take some more callers. All right. What area are you located in, brother?
I'm in Washington.
Well, have you gathered with the church in Washington?
No. I've sent some emails, but I've never got a reply back to like with elders out here.
Okay, that probably needs to be the first step that you take, is to first gather with a church, all right, and link in first like that with the body, all right. So let me take your number down here, and I'll get it and I'll pass it on, and somebody will be in touch with you, all right.
I appreciate that.
All right, my brother, man. Let's keep it moving. What's your name, sorry?
I'm Darnell.
All right, Darnell, man. Thank you for calling. I'm gonna put you back in queue, all right? And just push one for me, and I will take you out the call queue, all right?
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right, go ahead, Darnell. Just hit one for me, all right? And just so we can make it through the callers in a timely fashion, all right? Next caller from the 77 area code. Shalom. Caller, you there? Okay, caller going once. Caller from the 770 area code. Alright, we're not getting no answer there. Let's come back to that one. Alright, let's go over to the next caller from the 504 area code. 504. Shalom, caller.
Yeah. Right. Shalom. Hi, elders. So I'm here in the D.C. area, and what's going on here is just basically with the Pope and everyone from the the president and media is calling him the Holy Father, and some even saying Jesus has come through. So it's crazy, because I know that the Bible says that our Father who art in heaven, but they're recognizing him on TV in front of the world as the Holy Father. And my second observation is that the government and the media, anyone that's against homosexuality or not for homosexuality, since it's been promoted so heavily, is basically demonized. And so my thing is, if the Catholic Church is upholding the Bible, then wouldn't they demonize the Catholic Church, why would the president, the government, the media be making such a fuss and go out of their way for the Catholic Church? Why are they not demonized? It seems as though they are all working together. And they chose the High Holy Week to have all these events. So it's something significant that even evil people know that they have to observe in order to get some things taken, brought into place. And that was my observation.
Okay, that's a good observation. How can a society and a nation which is anti-Bible and anti-God be so pro-Roman Catholic, is what you surmise. And see, that lets you know that they and that church is the whore of Babylon. They're satanic. Okay? The men and priests have gotten their positions through pedophilia and homosexuality and demonic rituals. The women have gotten their position as lesbians behind closed doors and satanic rituals and abortions and all types of evil in the positions in the Roman Catholic Church, which is Babylonian ritualistic. Christ said himself, Yeshua said in Matthew 23:9, and call no man your father upon earth. For one is your Father, which is in heaven. So anyone call that pedophile a father is an antichrist. He's an antichrist. And we'll leave it there. A country that's so okay, we're going to put you back in the queue, sister.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Really, thank you for your insight. We have a country that's anti-Bible, anti-God, anti-commandments, yet pro-Roman Catholic, and worshiping and kissing the ring of the Pontiff satanic father of the Holy Roman Whore Church. That tells us it's satanic at its core. Okay? It's evident. All right. Let's do this, Gaja. Let's take a quick break. Let's do an advert, and let's come on right back and take some more calls.
Alrighty. 1 second, let me listen this up. Alright, everybody, you are listening to the Search Engine International. The numbers to call is 646-200-4309. Alright? Be right back.
We're bringing the treasures of the earth
to the people of the world.
Amenez les trésors de la terre au peuple du monde.
This is your day to shine, your time to win. So raise your cup.
Hii coffee ni nzuri sana, kwa hivyo zinatakikana kukunywa, alafu tunasaidia dunia yote, traendo los tesoros de la tierra a la gente del mundo.
Whether it's latte, mocha, the king of coffee, or our delicious teas, you'll soon see what all the buzz is about in more than 30 countries worldwide. Organo Gold gives you 200 nutrients in every cup. It's silky smooth and delicious, without the jitters. Drink the healthier coffee. Visit our site today at oneincreasecoffee.organogold.com. That's the number 1, increasecoffee.organogold.com. Kwam Yasharala.
Do you have a talent, a company, or a service to render? Would you like an avenue to get the word out? Well, GOCC Blog Talk Radio would like to connect with you to help fulfill your vision. Don't have a clear direction or where to go? It's okay. GOCC Blog Talk Radio can assist you with making your very own commercial. Call us now at 1-888-334-3330 and be on your way to the expansion of your business. That's 1-888-334-3330. GOCC Blog Talk Radio Station, starting the foundations for the building blocks of life. GOCC members ask for special rates.
If you have serious health challenges or just want a full body tune-up,
then pay a visit to barakrapah-naturally.org. Barakapah means bless and heal in Hebrew, and this is exactly what our holistic, natural approach to health will do for you. Your body has been designed by the Most High to correct and heal even the most severe illnesses using full body cleansing and detox protocols in combination with whole foods, herbs, natural supplements, pure drinking water and a stress-reducing lifestyle, positive thoughts and prayer. We use tried and tested natural methods to identify and address any health challenge using a simple, easy-to-follow, personalized health program designed specifically for you. We can offer an initial 1-hour health session followed by a full 28-day follow-up plan, which includes support by email, Skype or telephone. Further ongoing support is available as required to assist you on your health journey. We can provide you with a health and lifestyle education that will position you on the road to excellent health. So if you've tried all the hype, medicines, doctors and drugs, and failed to get the results you need, it's time to do something different. Why not use a proven natural healing program that has provided great results for many that have used it? We're not here to sell you supplements, we're here to show you how to get your health back and keep it. Go to barakrapah-naturally.org, spelled www.barakrapah-naturally.org.
Alright. And everybody, welcome back to the Search Engine International, and that is Barack Rapah by Sister Bev, aka Sister Eliona, who has been a part of the church now from I don't know, some 5, 6, 7 years right now, and she does an excellent job, very thorough. If you have any problems, give her a call, contact her through Barack Rapah, and she will be very thorough. She is she has a mother-like nature with her, and she wants to see you get better. Alright, and Sister Bev, if you're listening, shalom. I know I'm supposed to call you back. Sorry, my sis, I've just been busy, alright? But I'm doing well. All praises to the Most High. Alright, Elder Ricard, you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. And yes, just make sure you go to Barack Rapah. It's spelled just like it, just like I said it, Barack Rapah. And the sister she's a loving sister, and she will help you. You have some issues, she'll be there for you. Yes. And I want to put this out there real quick for those who are listening. We do have another academy coming up, actually, starting this Sunday. So you probably want to get right into this academy. We're also going to be bringing some new lessons, especially injecting the secrets of the times as one of the lessons on how to calculate time, deal with the holy days, and understanding time concerning the Most High. Also, I had a conversation with Elder Zion Ash, and he's operating with us, and we told him, like, after this 3 months, we're going to implement an elder and deacon, and which we call a leadership guidance class once a week, which would be an extension of the Advanced Academy. And what that will be is, it's going to teach brothers and sisters coming right out of the academy. For the for a month, they'll be learning the dietary laws, the moral, civil, and dietary ceremonial laws according to the Bible, because people leave the academy and don't know what to do next. So this will guide them in some level of scriptural obedience coming directly out of the academy. From that, we're going to go into how to apply these things as far as the spirit of the law in the next month, and the obedience and order that comes from the Most High when it comes to understanding the scriptures and getting a strong foundation instead of just allowing brothers and sisters to go out there and get ripped apart online, going from this place to that place, trying to grab whatever they need, and then get everything within the church. So we're going to continue that. We're going to look to have that right after the academy. So this academy, we're looking, is going to be a blessed one. We hope that we can have a greater turnout with this one when it comes to number. So, we're putting a lot into it. And as you all know, it's only $50 per month, whatever currency in your respective country. $50 per month, and that's quite inexpensive for everything you get. You get the PDFs, you get the interactions, you get the news, you get the Hebrew, you get the history, and you get the teaching. So, and it's a way that we can help sustain the work and make sure our people, our brothers and sisters, are getting the knowledge on the next level outside of what you would normally find on YouTube. So I wanted to put that out there. If you're interested in that, send an email to gatheringas1, that's the number 1, at AOL.com to be in this Sunday. All right, so we have some more calls, Gocc.
Yes, Elder Ricard, definitely. Let me go to the next caller. Caller from the 504 area code we took before. Sister, just push 1 for me, and that will take you out of the queue. You're the second caller we had on live. And I'm going to call her from the 816 area code. And from all, sister, thank you for that. Go here. Shalom, caller, you're live.
Shalom. I just got a few quick questions. I've been doing some research, and I'm just going to go ahead and go into the questions. Barakatham, and my first question is about Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 14. And it's a familiar verse. And I've been loving the teachings about the different tribes, and I've been really anticipating the study about Dan, because I was curious, and still am, about where he falls in the earth today, or according to prophecy, how we can kind of put a better identity on him. And I came across some research, I don't have it before me, but that just said that the translation that said these 3 men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it. They should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, thus saith the Most High. And it said that this was Dan El in the original, and I was curious if the elders knew any or had some more.
Are you asking me, is Daniel related?
Yes. Yes.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
No. This Daniel is the prophet Daniel.
So this Daniel is not the Daniel we would typically, the one who interpreted the dreams.
No, this is not Dan. Are you saying the tribe of Dan?
Yes. I came across some research that said in the Hebrew that this was actually Dan El, E-L, the god El. So,
okay, let me get this clear. First, you was talking about information on finding the tribe of Dan.
Yes.
And then you came to this scripture, and you start speaking of Dan El. Are you saying that this Dan El in Ezekiel 14 is the tribe of Dan, or from the tribe of Dan?
I was just curious because I came across some research that because Job and Noah.
What is the research? What is the research?
Yeah, and I didn't have it before me.
Okay.
And,
all right. No. This don't do nothing. This don't have nothing to do with Dan. This is the prophet Daniel that you read of in Scripture, which writes off of the hinges of the Persian Empire, between the Babylonian and Persian Empire. This is Daniel, the prophet. Dan, the tribe of Dan, had two goings. One of their goings, they broke off. Some of them broke off during the time that we left out of Egypt, and they went over into parts of Greece. So some of the Isles of Greece is Dan. Like the Spartans, they were Danites. Okay? And then you have other areas. You can primarily find Dan on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. Presently.
Okay. Yeah, I was really just anxiously waiting for the next when we come across Dan in the studies on the different tribes. I'm anxiously awaiting. It's been all thorough teaching, and I'm looking forward to becoming a part of the academy, the next upcoming academy.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you.
I was curious about also Jesse in the Hebrew. David's father, Jesse, his Hebrew name.
Okay. One moment. Let me get it for you. One moment. Okay. Jesse in the Hebrew is Yeshai.
Okay.
Yeshaya.
Oh.
But the difference is spelled Y-A-S-A-Y. It's a Yah and a Yah on the end. So I know some people will look at that and think that it's similar to Yeshaya, but when you look at it in the Hebrew, it's spelled different.
Okay, because those are kind of really where my questions was going initially, because I have a what would you call it? Jewish friend, and he said, well, Jesus, that is Jesse. And I've been trying to find where this Jesus comes from, and there's a lot of things that I came across. Also came across a Druid god named Isis.
Okay.
Curious, do we know where the Druids come from, or?
All right, caller.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bless you. Rockathon.
Let me put you back in the queue, brother, and just hit one for me. I will take you out, and then you go to the next caller for water. Next caller from the 501 area code.
Shalom.
You're live. Go ahead.
Shalom. Yes, shalom. I am calling tonight about what the Elder Ricard was talking about, the evil spirits. And what he says, I'm telling the brothers and sisters online, is the truth. I'm dealing with that right now. And I've kind of like seen them all my life, and I knew they were kind of like evil, and I didn't know what to do about them. And then when I came into the truth, I saw this YouTube video with Elder Ricard and lawyer, I think it's called the name of God, the true name of God, something like that. And so at the very end, the elders are getting up, and Elder Ricard says, you rebuke them in the name of Ahia, and that gets rid of all demons and even Satan on the left-hand side. So one night, I had this dream, and I was shutting my door, and as I was shutting my door, this familiar tall spirit that I've seen all my life, because it's sort of like three of them, a little short one, a fat black one, and a tall, real light one. And this real tall light one was at the door, and I was getting ready to shut my door, and he was staring at the door. And then he looked at me, and he said, and his eyes said, oh, I'm good, Gail. And then I looked at him, and I said, I rebuke you in the name of Ahia, and he disappeared. And then now that I'm baptized, what the elder says is true. If you remain calm, stay in prayer, they cannot bother you because they do go on emotions. And I've been praying a lot. I be in the scriptures, and they used to use sorcery on me. This tall, thin light when he would just like stare. And so the last few weeks, I went and prayed, and I asked the Most High, I said, Most High, what must I do to get this sorcery off of me? And I heard, pray and fast for 7 days, and you won't see him again. So I've been fasting, so I did that, and I can't say I haven't really been bothered with them. And also, I go through my whole house, and if I see anything, I think I see something moving out of my house, I rebuke every room, and my house is just as calm. And I'm going to tell you, sisters, keep your head covered. Because I remember this experience before I came into truth. I was in the bathroom on my job, and I saw this sodomite spirit come down through my head. And I keep my head covered even when I'm in the house, when I go out, before I go out, I get on my knees, go in my closet, and I pray, and I ask the Most High in the name of Yeshua. I ask him, I say, is it okay for me to go out, even if I want to walk just to the food giant? Because they are loose, and these, they are familiar with it. And just what the elder described tonight, if you remain calm, and I didn't realize I had power over them by remaining calm, but I've noticed the more I pray and the more calmer I get, they seem to be like in a frenzy. So now if I see them, I like turn my back. If I see them, I'll cross the street. And then he was thinking that it was some kind of emotional thing with me. So that got him more in a frenzy, but I just was trying to avoid that sorcery. And the Most High will help you. And one night, even the Holy Spirit came and helped me. I had this dream, that Spirit was trying to get me to fornicate. And I felt this rushing come by me, and then all of a sudden I seemed like I just like snapped back to myself, and I said, I don't want to do that.
Sister. Shalom, sister. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Where are you from, sister?
I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay. Are you a part of the body?
Yes, I am, and I got baptized March the 28th. 2015 in Dallas, GOCC.
Okay, praise the Most High, my sister. Praise the Most High. I don't want to cut you and rush on your testimony, but I just want to get through some more calls. Is that okay if I just put you back in the queue?
Oh yeah, sure. I just wanted to let them know it's the truth what the elders say. And use that rebuking. Keep yourself covered. Stay in prayer. Ask the Most High for any kind of help, and you will be helped. Shalom.
Shalom, sister. Tawada. Let me just put, can you just push one for me, please, and that will take you out of the queue? Alright, sister, thank you very much. Let me go to the next caller from the 513 area code. And callers, please, just keep it to the question, a question or a brief comment, alright? So we can get through as many calls this evening as possible. Alright? Tawada.
Hi.
Shalom.
Hello. Shalom. This is Gina. Hi, Elder Ricard. I'm calling because, as you know before, I told you I'm in the truth by myself. So I have really been attacked by the enemy. I own my own business. I'm being attacked on that end, being attacked with the family, being attacked with my spouse. What I want to know is, because my parents were raised traditionally in the church, and when I try to share the information about the true name of the Most High and Christ, they're not trying to hear that. So I'm kind of concerned for people that pray for me, and they're praying for me in Jesus' name. What do I do about that?
You can't do nothing about it.
Okay.
You don't have no power over what they do, and nothing negative can happen to you.
Okay. That was my concern.
Yeah, nothing can happen to you.
Okay.
But that's the only way to show their love towards you, the way they know how. So.
Right.
So it's okay.
Okay.
Pray for them.
And it is
highest.
a battle. Yeah. Thank you for today, because that's what I was talking about today. Everybody is going through, and we got to stay. This is spiritual warfare. Ain't no game.
Absolutely, sisters. Stay strong, too.
All right.
You're in the battle. All right. Shalom.
All right. Sister, let me just put you in the queue.
Okay.
And please push 1 for me, and that will take you out the call queue, all right? All right. Thank you very much. My sister, just push 1, Tawada, and let me go to the next caller here, straight from the 248 area code.
Shalom, brothers.
Hey, shalom.
And elders. I just have a question. Calling from Michigan. I was wondering, was Elder Dill still over the Detroit area? And I wanted to get baptized. My family and myself, I met him once at a gathering, and I've been calling and haven't got a call back.
Yes, Elder Dell is over the Detroit area, and we can make sure, God, to make sure you get his number, and we'll make sure Dell call you.
Please, I appreciate it. Really
No
appreciate
problem. The water, bro.
The water.
Hey, brother, what's your name, sorry, real quick?
Demetrius.
Demetrius. All right, brother. I'm going to pass your number on to an elder right now, and someone will give you a call, all right?
Thank you. It's the Most High.
All right. All right. Just Demetrius, just push 1 for me, please, and that will take you out the queue. All right. Push 1. All right. Let me go to the next caller from the 832 area code. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. Your line. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Praise be to God.
God bless you. I've been waiting to call. My name is Carissa. I'm calling from the Houston area in Texas. And I was just calling to say bless you. I've been following you guys since 2011. And it was just a weird journey. I'm originally from Central Africa, the Congo. And it was based on a dream that I had, and it led me to the mysteries regarding who we are. And basically, I just had a statement that I wanted to tell you, brethren. I've been doing trucking for almost 7 months now, and everywhere I drive, there are construction. Like, when I say construction, I mean every major highway in the United States of America. They're building it. Either they're breaking the old roads and widening it, or building new toll roads, and it's happening at the same time. And it's unbelievable. When I ask other drivers who are experienced, they say, "Oh yeah, it's probably because the weather is nice." But I've talked to some of the drivers who've been 15 years, 25 years. They say they've never seen anything like this. Second, also Walmart, as I've heard from a Walmart employee, they're closing 65 Walmarts that they've been told. The one by my house was 24 hours, and they switch it to 12 hours. And you know the majority of the people who are going to lose those jobs are people. And also, third, one thing they're not saying on the news is there are major military presence, U.S. military presence in Africa. One thing I know is in Central Republican country, well, the civilian number they're telling people is 7,000. My dad was in the military. Say whenever they tell us, it's take that number times twice or thrice. And it's like everything is happening is on point. And to Brother Rocco, I wanted to let him know, because I've seen the progress of your church. When you taught that teaching, I think probably 2012, regarding Africa, where most Israelites used to say, you know, Africa is ham, and you brought that teaching to confirm that Sub-Saharan Africa are really the children of Israel. My grandfather, before he passed, he finally put together a family tree, because his father was a king from my mother's side. And before he passed away, he gave my grandpa a blessing among all of his children, because my grandpa was kind of stubborn. So his older brother, who became king, but he didn't get the blessing because he wasn't there when my great-grandfather passed away, he gave him the family tree. And I looked at a family tree. We dig, the starting date is 1333, and on that family tree is when the Muslims began to go to northern Sudan, southern Egypt area, and began kicking all the believers in Christ. And they gave them a choice. They said either worship Allah or get out of the land. And I quote from my ancestors' line, they say, we will not worship your God, we're going to worship our father's God. And that's how they began to go southern of Central Africa. And Africa is basically a new continent. That's why they changed time, as you say. They're changing time because, according to my ancestor, West Africa, Southern and Central Africa began to be populated late 1300s. So by the time they began the slave trade, that's why when they went to Africa, we had this kind of like not civilized, no technology advanced like we were before, because we were still discovering the green part of Africa. So I just wanted to bring this statement to not only confirm what's going on that I'm seeing, but also records that are not in the hands of believers here. But basically the Bible is confirming itself that we are living in the last days. I just wanted to share with them.
Man, what a blessing to hear you, brother, and very articulate, right to the point, and you're quite aware of what's going on. When are you going back to Africa?
I moved here in the U.S. in 2000. I haven't gone back yet, but I basically, if you remember the civil war in Congo back in 97, when Mobutu, who was a dictator, Clinton kicked him out. I went through that war, and I went through the whole, I'll say I've been through famine, all those kind of stuff that people witness or go through war. So I'm here to tell you, and when you were saying that many people are not ready for it, Westerners are not ready for what happens when there is a war. And this war is going to be even worse than ours, because you're going to have armies from all over the planet, where we only had, the UN and the Rwanda genocide. And the way they promote the Rwanda genocide is this. I'm sure you heard of the Tutsi and the Hutu. The Hutu are from the Bantu. And we know the Bantus are our ancestors who trace back to Libya. But the Tutsis are more like Somalians, because they come from Ham Kush. So the U.S. government used the Tutsi, who are the minority of the land, to take over Rwanda. That's why the whole Rwanda genocide, they make it seem like the Tutsi were the victim, but really they were the ones. They don't believe in God. They're at the seat of the serpent. And what they're doing right now with the help of the U.S. and UN is to take over Congo, because I know there's so much I could say, but when you read Leviticus, when the Most High was describing the land of Israel as the land of milk and honey. There is no country in the world that matches that description to detail but Congo, and they will never tell you. First, we got the most flourishing river, the most powerful river in the world, where the electricity from Congo dam can feed the whole continent of Africa. And not only that, all the minerals, coltan that's used on cell phone comes from my country. All the minerals that you could think of comes from the Congo. And right now they're not telling you Congo is in a crisis. They're leaching all, John McCain's wife is over there, but you never see on TV. Bill Clinton goes over there, they never tell you. George Bush goes to East Congo, they will never tell you. They're over there sucking our nation dry, but they were never going to tell the Westerners.
Some key information, man. Make sure you leave your number because we're looking for brothers in different parts of Africa for some projects, some objectives we're looking to go forward over there. So, Dr. Make sure you get his number. We're going to give you a call, all right?
Yes, sir. Bless you. That's why I think right now I'm even at work, but something in my spirit was like, call the Gocc radio, linking with the brothers, because, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you guys have research on. Some I learned it on my own, some through my church, but like as you say, you know, all the information, put it together, and, you know, brothers can share, and those who will listen, want, and those who will, you know, the Most High will guide them. But all I can say is, I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure, brother Rocker, you feel it too, even the bodyguards. It's like, where everywhere I go, something in my spirit is like, it's time, and as if it's going to happen tomorrow. But you wake up, it's another day, and people are just doing the same thing. But in my spirit, it's like, you know, get yourself ready. I'm buying books that you guys say. I'm buying books. I'm like, I know the internet is going to shut down, but it feels like it's going to happen now. That sense of urgency, but I know it's, you know, the Holy Spirit has no sense of time, but what I'm feeling in my spirit was like, you know, just go and share. Like, I don't know, it's like in a passion kind of feeling, but this teaching you guys pass on the trumpet, it's like, I'm sitting when I was watching the show, and when you broke down the time where you say, you know, 6,000 years, and it just opened, and I'm like, wow. So all this time, they've cheated time. They're putting in our books that, you know, Africa, you know, the Bantu start moving in Africa. It's all lie. And my grandpa passed away 2 years ago, and he felt the urgency to publish it. And I have the original copy with me, and I'm planning on publishing it here, you know, before time is up. But the Igbo, one of the children of our ancestor is Igbo, as you see it. He is one of the descendants of my ancestor. So, and they say they all came from Libya. They were living in Libya. Then they moved to what's now Northern Sudan, southern Egypt. And then when the Muslims began to keep the king that was a Christian, not a Catholic Christian, but a pre-Constantine Christian, then they began moving through the Nile, going south. And it's just a blessing. I just wanted to bring this message and tell you, brethren, you on point. Even my father, who was hardcore Christianity, you know, he gave me the knowledge that I know. But we debate sometimes, you know, like with the virgin birth. But now even my own father, he's beginning to say, we have to be the children of Israel, because everything that has happened, our people are so stupid. But it's not like stupid because we want to be stupid, but because we've been made stupid. We are so stubborn. We refuse to hear the sound of alarm. You say, look, there's fire. If you jump on it, you burn. They be like, you crazy, get out of here. And they jump and they die. That's our people, but it's something beyond, you know, psychology. It's spiritual. But I felt, you know, blessed to share with you this message, that everything you're saying is on point, and there's so much information that they're not going to say on the news that's happening as we speak.
Well, brother, you're right on point. We're going to make sure we give you a call, brother, and you stay strong, all right?
Thank you, sir. God bless you. And I'll say bless you to Brother Gadja and all the brothers of the GOCC, even the brothers who are calling us the other name. All I have to say is, brother, be humble. We don't know everything, and the Bible says, try. Prove yourself. Even Paul, when Christ appeared to him, what did he do? He didn't just walk and say, okay, Christ is the Messiah. The scripture says he went back to his studies and then he confirmed. So we have to be humble, and I just want to say bless you to the brethren. Stay strong. Listen to Brother Rockall. Listen to Brother Lawyer. Listen to all the elders in the church. Even though I have no time to be involved, but I just want to say is the only way we're going to make through this is together. Divided, we fall. Together, we shall overcome.
All right, brother man. Shalom, man.
He's right on. He's right on.
All right. And Elder Rakar, I think we're gonna take one more caller right now, and then we're gonna. Can you hear me? Hello, Elder Rakar?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, we're just gonna take one more caller right now, and we'll I have to apologize to the callers while missing this evening, and we can catch up hopefully at higher willing next week. All right, so let me go to this will be the final call for this evening. Let me go to the caller from the 347 area code.
Hello.
Shalom.
Hello, shalom, Elder Rockall and Gaja. This is my first time calling, and I just wanted. Well, actually, I got two questions and a comment, but first, I wanted to say that I really think it's a wonderful job which I'm doing with the show. I wish more brothers that I know around where I live at knows about the show so they could listen too. But my comment was I just wanted to confirm what the last brother was talking about, because I do the same thing that he do, drive trucks, and I've been across the country all over. And the construction thing that he's talking about is really ridiculous. I don't even have words to describe the amount of constructions, northwest, south, east, west. Everywhere you go is construction. And one thing I wanted to add with that, I noticed during the time that I was out on the road, because I'm home now, when I was out there, pretty much everything from the west of the Mississippi, there's these trains. I noticed that they have these trains out there, and I never seen them before, but basically they look like they run miles long. And if y'all brothers know anything what a live cargo look like when a truck carries like livestock, like chickens, hens, and different things like that, the back of the trailer is it kind of got gaps open so the animals can breathe and stuff like that. Well, these train cars look the same way, but they gigantic. And at one point I was driving with a co-driver, and I asked him, because he was out there longer than I have, driving several years longer than I have, and he told me that those was train cars that carry car freights or something like that he was trying to explain to me. But to me, it looked like you could fit like at least 100 people in each car, and it was just enough space in between the way the cars was made where people could breathe. So I just thought, I wanted to share that. My two questions. My first question, because I had to really think about what I wanted to ask, and there's a lot of things that's troubling me, but I broke it down to these two questions. My first question was, when I was a little kid, like 7 or 8, I was baptized at my family's church, and I wanted to know if that baptism was is that is that approved by the Most High, or do I have to get baptized again? And my second question was, there was some videos out there that I was watching for the past like year and a half, and these videos is promoting this place, and I think it's Arad, Israel, and people is saying like this is the real Zion and stuff like that. And I haven't done much research about it, but the research that I did, like it can kind of confuse me because in that place they have these two pillars that supposed to be like in the sanctuary of it, and the pillars were, one pillar was Allah, and the other pillar was Yahweh. And you know, I'm like really confused about it, you know what I'm saying? Because I know some people that tell me, you know, you have to go and pilgrimage to, you know, out there and stuff like 3 times a year or what have you, you know. And I just wanted to know your opinions on that, and that's it for me.
Okay, what's your name again?
Excuse me, you breaking up.
What's your name?
Davon.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay. Answer to your first question. Yes. You must be baptized again in the true name of Christ. Okay. You had those that was baptized on John. They found the disciples and knew that they had to get baptized in Christ. They got baptized in the name of Christ, even though they were under John arisen. So let's answer that question. The second question. Do you follow the Bible? That's a yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, where do the Most High tell you to go back to a Mount Israel at in the Bible?
I read several scriptures, but I haven't, like I said, I haven't did in-depth research on it. I'm just starting to learn about.
Listen, brother, listen. If you have to listen intently on the question to know how to answer.
All right.
The answer to that is you don't know. Right?
Correct.
Oh, exactly. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is, if it's nothing confirmed in Scripture, bro, you don't follow what someone is putting on YouTube, and you haven't learned Scripture. You understand? You have to find a place in which you can grow to learn the Bible so you're not deceived. You understand?
Right.
So no one with any good sense of Christ would be in Israel right now. Who's going to lead us back to the promised land?
Yeshua, Christ.
Exactly. So, do you know that place will be utterly wasted before Christ makes it new?
I don't know.
Exactly. So that's good. Come into our class. Are you in the academy?
No. I'm not in the academy. I would have been, but right now finances is kind of tight.
Okay. Well, send us an email. We do have a list that we let a certain amount of people in who can't afford it per academy. So send us an email to gatheringas1@AOL.com. Mm-hmm. All right, and we'll try to work something out. But you need to get under some level of teaching. Now, what area are you in?
I'm in the New York area.
Okay, we got Elder Gabar there. You don't even need to be at the academy. You can go to church and learn under some serious teachers that we have in New York. See, you got to apply yourself, brother, because if you don't make time to learn, then you're not going to grow. You must sacrifice some time. You must give up some if you're going to do this. You understand?
Right.
Okay, because right now, listen, because what I'm hearing is that you're at a volatile state and you don't understand certain things. And if you listen to somebody tell you, you better go over to the Middle East, go over in Israel right now. You're about to get yourself destroyed, okay? It shows you in the book of Isaiah where we're going to be delivered from. But I wouldn't even suggest you go there right now. I suggest you find a teacher. And we have teachers that's in your city. Okay? That's where you need to be going, not to Israel. Okay?
Yeah, well, I never said that I was going, but I was interested on the whole thing, and I wanted to know other people's opinion about it, because like I said, I don't know, I never been over there, and I never done in-depth study about that particular situation, you know what I'm saying? I only been in the truth for the past maybe year and a half, me and my wife, and we pretty much study at home. Like a month ago, actually, me, my wife, and my son, we went up to the Bronx and saw Elder Gocc and stuff for a Bible study, and it was nice. But pretty much, we trying to find somewhere that we can trust, first of all, and somewhere that we can grow and learn at. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of still in that process. But, I just wanted to hear your thoughts about that, That's pretty much my basis of calling.
Okay, it's water, brother, and we pray that you find what you're looking for.
Yeah, I hope so too. And thank you for taking my call. I know y'all pretty much tight with the timing for the show or whatnot. And I just want to say God bless all of y'all, and I hope nothing happens where y'all can't do the show again, because this is, like I said, this is a really nice show. I wish there was other people in my neighborhood who knew about it and listened to it, so that's pretty much it.
Okay, bless you, brother. You have a good night, okay?
All right, you too. Shalom.
All right, Elder, okay. You here? At the end, I just want to say thank you to all the people who tuned in this evening for what it is, to make it what it is. All right, may the Most High bless and keep you all. So over the next couple of weeks, enjoy the feast of or the gathering of the Feast of Tabernacle when it comes. This coming sundown Saturday. Sundown Sabbath. So be safe where you are, stay prayed up. Don't yield your members over to unrighteousness, and link in with the body, alright? And that's it from me here, Elder Rakai. Is there anything else to add?
Rise Israel. Praise the Most High in the name of Yeshua Yehoshua. We thank the Most High for his tender mercy. Pray that the Most High keep us until we're here again. Shalom.
Shalom.
Very side, by thy side will stand, and always praise thy name. Praise thy name, praise thy name to heaven, yeah. By thy side will stand, and always praise thy name. Praise thy name, praise thy name to heaven, yeah.
By thy side, ain't never gonna leave. Ain't nothing out there, nothing that I need. Nothing but them things that make my heart bleed. Brought me to repentance, put me on my knees. Like why did we die, like dogs in the street? Why we living in these ghettos, no food to eat? Why do we suffer? Why are we so low? If there's a God, he don't love us. Little did I know. There's a book of the law, and it carry verses. We fell from the law, and it carry curses. We suffer and know, yes, we are the chose. You say that too much. I'ma say it every song. Trying to get from the beast, I'm trying to get to the east. Trying to get to the peace, this takes expertise. Being shaped and molded, I go to school in the sky. Studies of Zion, the real east side high.
Will stand and always praise thy name. Praise thy name, praise thy name to heaven, yeah. By thy side will stand and always praise thy name. Praise thy name, praise thy name to heaven, yeah.
Tell you, Lord Johnson, we ain't interested. If you against this, then you helping all oppression. I'll be the laughing stock. Nobody understands. Sound like gibberish to the average simple man. Cause fools hate knowledge. It be hurting their head. I just wanna survive, even after I'm dead. I'm at East Side High, learning the ways of the East. Yeshua himself, don't give me my degree. My graduation hat will be a golden crown. Having my prom in Zion, gathering up on the mount. No more pain, no more poverty, and no more fear. I could just rest, no more tribulation, no more tears. Nothing but victory, victory 1,000 years. We gon' judge angels, even judge our peers. And all our curses, Father gonna reverse it. It's gonna be perfect, but for now we learn.
Will stand and always praise thy name. Praise thy name, praise thy name to heaven, yeah. By thy side will stand and always praise thy name. Praise thy name, praise thy name to heaven.
Revelations 14:1. And I looked, and lo, the Lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him was 144,000, having his Father's name written in their forehead. And I heard the voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harp, and they sung as if it were a song before the throne, and before the four beasts, and the elders. And no man could learn that song but 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth.
Our hearts and hands to help increase thy faith.